When the sun sets, the undead awaken. To slake their hunger, they feed upon the herd of unaware mortals. Right beneath our noses, the kindred clash against their rivals as they vie for control of the city of San Francisco. Are you strong enough to cheat final death and see another night? Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game from Renegade Game Studios.
Welcome to Vampire Wednesdays. I am Sarah Erickson, Director of Sales and Marketing here at Renegade Game Studios. And I am so lucky today because I am actually joined by a member of the official World of Darkness crew. Yay! So welcome our special guest today, Martina. How are you doing?
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. I am doing super well in my little vampiric haven. And I'm very happy to join you today for Vampire Wednesdays because it sounds like my Wednesdays.
Every day is a vampire day for you, right?
I mean, kinda. I gotta admit, although I am much of a fan of all the other World of Darkness IPs, I think Vampire is going to be my favorite forever.
I won't tell the other ones, don't worry.
Yeah, don't tell the werewolves especially because they're going to go and chase me.
Yeah,
I hate being chased by werewolves.
It's bad. So just to dive right in and make sure everybody knows who you are, what do you do with the World of Darkness? What's your current role?
So my role is the community developer in the World of Darkness for the World of Darkness brand. And this has a lot of meanings, but people sometimes confuse it with community manager, with someone who manages social media, which is a part of this role. But being a community developer in majority means planning and coming up with various strategies on how to, first of all, reach the community, how to expand the community, and how to, of course, satisfy the current community and make them included in a lot of the things that we're doing. So basically, it's a lot of work consisting possibly hundreds of thousands or millions of people that are out there and trying to accommodate and trying to make this whole community and universe bigger. It's a very ambitious role, I feel, and I felt that the first moment when I joined the team that this is big and this is going to be big and it's going to only grow. But I am super proud to get this role and to have this job right now and to hopefully do this job well. I'm so far, I started in March, so this is my first year of working in Paradox and therefore in World of Darkness. But we've done a lot of really cool things together and I can't wait for the next year.
That's exciting. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and take a wild guess that before you started your job in March, you were part of the community of Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness in general. So tell us a little bit about how you began your journey as a fan, as a lover of this world, and how you got to where you actually got a job in this industry, which is super amazing.
Sure. So I've told this story a few times before, but maybe I can add some more elements to it. But basically, it started with my brother, who back when I was a teenager, he was kind of my connection to the culture, to video games, music, movies. He was studying away from my small town in which I was raised, and he was bringing me all of the cool stuff. So because of him, I started listening to rock music. I started watching some really cool, ambitious movies that he brought me. And of course, I started playing a lot of video games. First, as I just tried to mimic what he was doing and of course, steal the keyboards from him. And when I was little, we were always fighting over the access to the PC. But when I was older, he would bring me games and he would try to bring me some cool games that he played himself. He's 10 years older than me, and I was 14 when he brought me Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And he told me, I'm not sure this is the game for you yet, but you know what, just take it. It's going to be fine. So huge thanks to my brother for not fully going with the rules of age on the box of Bloodlines. Because I played for the first time when I was 14. I didn't understand understood it very well because I didn't know English that well. And I started playing it with a dictionary. My biggest mistake was that I played it as a Malkavian at the beginning, so I couldn't understand literally anything. But after the dictionary came in place and I picked another clan, it started to slowly click. And I have to thank Bloodlines for my straight A's in English that I had later on, because it really helped me with expanding my vocabulary. And it brought me into World of Darkness. I found a role-playing group soon later. They were very much D&D oriented, and they didn't really want to play a vampire that much as I did, but these were my first attempts at role-playing. And since then, it's just left in me. It was always there. Whenever I was doing whatever in my life, I was studying art. I was very much following the footsteps of artists I knew because of Bloodlines, the people who were on the team. And then when I was working in the gaming industry, I did it because I wanted to make a game like Bloodlines. And all of that things that I was doing in my adult life was more or less because of that game. So yeah, it was a big journey, but I'm very happy that it led me to the place where I am right now.
That's amazing. Very cool. So how did you get to know the World of Darkness people, the people that already work there?
Oh yeah, so we did get to know each other a little bit earlier. Not the whole team, but I think the very first meeting was in San Francisco during the GDC. There was the Tender reveal party. So I was following Tender campaign very closely because I suspected this has to be connected with Vampire the Masquerade. And this was my time when I was very active as an influencer, as a YouTuber, and I was making those conspiracy theory videos like, is this going to be Bloodlines? What the hell is Tender? And everything around that. So I got super lucky. It was a great coincidence because I actually got the government scholarship from Polish government to go to GDC because I was an indie developer and I was making my own game. And they funded my trip to San Francisco, which was supposed to be mostly for promoting my own game and being on a conference. But I was the most happy of the fact that I'm going to sneak away and go to the Tender event on one of the events. So that happened. And that's where I met Jason Carl, who was just standing there in the queue, just greeting everyone. And as I was a big fan, so it was a very big moment for me. And I've met some people who work in Paradox when I was inside, and some people who worked on Bloodlines as well. And then I met them again on ParadoxCon, where they showed the very first footage from Bloodlines 2, and that's how I've met some more people. But I feel like the biggest meeting and bond that we really had and made in between each other was during recording of Vain Pursuit. This is the official role-playing campaign, which we recorded earlier this year in January. And I was invited to join them in Stockholm to be one of the characters in the campaign. And that's how I went to the offices for the very first time. And around that time, they published that particular job offer that they had, and I applied to it. So basically, we kind of combined one of the recordings of Vain Pursuit with the recruitment day, and I went through the interviews, and I was trying to get in, and it worked. So here I am now in Stockholm. I moved from Poland, and it's been a very long year so far, but a very, very nice one, actually. So
Well,
I'm happy with 2020.
That's awesome. You're one of the few.
I know. I feel bad saying this almost, really, but it's been okay.
No, it's all good. No, that's awesome. We need a little positivity this year. That's fantastic. So most of the people viewing who come and join us for Vampire Wednesdays every week are fans of Vampire the Masquerade Rivals, which is our card game that we are very excited to have coming out in January. We're so close. Yay! But there's a lot of other stuff out there for people who just love the world of darkness. Do you want to tell us, you already talked a little bit about Bloodlines, which is the video game, of course. Do you want to tell us about other ways that people can interact with this fantastic setting?
Oh yeah, one of the most amazing things about working in the World of Darkness brand team is the fact that we work with so many different teams of people who are making those different products. And all of them really, I don't know any team working on any what product who are not complete World of Darkness nerds. So this is something that is very close to my heart, and I'm very happy that I can just nerd out with everyone. Some people feel, I think, still believe that World of Darkness is probably just this one big factory in which everyone just works together and makes these games and board games. But it's people all over the world making even tiny things or bigger things or much bigger things like video games, but they all come together into this one universe. And we at the top, let's say, it's not really the top, but it's basically, we are the little team that makes sure that it's all done in accordance to the brand. So that vampires act like vampires in the Vampire the Masquerade, werewolves are werewolves, and other nuances, of course. But all the things that people are doing in the world, of course, video games, not only, of course, Bloodlines 2, but there's Swan Song on the way, which I'm personally super excited for. It's another Vampire the Masquerade RPG game. There's Werewolf the Apocalypse Air of Blood, which is more of an action RPG game. There's Choice of games coming. There's, which one of them actually released already, and people said that it was really cool because it really showed the role-playing aspect, the tabletop role-playing aspect in the form of the interactive game. Then there, of course, we have the Rave VR game, which I'm personally extremely anxious to play, but I cannot wait to do that. I feel like I'm going to be super frightened. And there's a lot of games coming, some of them about which we are not talking yet, but we are planning much more ahead and making sure that we have a lot of really interesting things coming. And of course, books. The closest one to release is going to be a free book that we're going to release in December, just very soon. A Vampire the Masquerade Companion. That's the one that we're doing internally, which is going to introduce clans, new clans to the Vampire the Masquerade V5, the 5th edition, including my favorite, which is Celebrate. So I'm very happy about that. And of course, a lot of more books and TTRPG materials on the way, thanks to, of course, Renegade as well. And then we have board games and card games. Rivals one of them, but then there's Vendetta and Heritage, which actually just landed on my desk very recently, so I have it just there waiting for me to dwell deeper into it. Chapters and a couple of others. Of course, Vampire the Eternal Struggle also received 5th edition very recently, and that game has a lot of fans in our studio, so they're very happy about that. We also have comics books on the way. HarperCollins did wonderful audiobooks called Walk Among Us that I just want to listen to over and over because they're really, really good. And it keeps them coming. Merchandise and everything that we can make that is going to make our community happy and is going to make Vampire the Masquerade fans happy. That's what we want to do. And I feel this the most because I was one of the people who followed World of Darkness as a fan for a lot of years, and I was always waiting for something new to happen. And of course, for a long time, because of the various things happening with the brand in the past, we had those moments of silence or years of silence. There was nothing happening, and I was always, as a fan, waiting for new games, new books, new whatever. I want more. So to be participating in this World of Darkness renaissance, which I'm very, very free to call it this way, I feel, with the amount of things that is coming out, that is happening right now. I'm just really proud and really happy as a fan that I can enjoy so many things. I keep on playing these games and checking out the board games, card games, audiobooks, novels in my free time, away from work, which I probably shouldn't because that makes my whole life World of Darkness, but I do because it's just so enjoyable, super fun.
So you talked about all of these different things that people can enjoy as part of the World of Darkness, but I would argue that none of those are as much fun without somebody else to play with, somebody else to talk to about how much you're enjoying these things. And the community is really, really important, which is why you have a job. So, what can people do who love World of Darkness to get more involved in that community? What suggestions would you have for people who just really love this whole world in this setting?
I've seen a lot of people who were entering the community through the same standpoints, that I don't really have many people to enjoy all of this stuff with, or I am super nerdy about this. I just want to talk about every little detail about this game and that game and role play a bit, but I don't have people in real life I can share it with, especially in this year. It's so difficult. Now that I moved to Sweden, of course, I have a lot of friends from work, but we still don't meet. So there's a big difficulty in just having those old school role-playing sessions at the table. It's just not happening. So this was one of the inspirations for me to try to create as many possible online spaces in which this can happen, and either create them myself or encourage other people to create them, because that's also happening. Right now, I think that one of the best ways to mingle with the family, with other World of Darkness people, not only family, but people who are fans of all of the settings, is our Discord, which is discord.gg/World of Darkness. We just set it up this year. Now it has a few thousand members, and people are talking there about everything World of Darkness related, finding the role-playing groups, finding people to play with. It's been super fun so far. And of course, it's also a hub which is supposed to connect various different servers and little areas around Discord to join us together. And people go from there to, for example, role-playing Discords, which we do not have the official one because we do not want to tell people how to role-play, but people are joining various different settings all around the world, which our fans are creating, and they are storytelling them. Then, of course, there's a lot of influencers and streamers who are creating their own storytelling campaigns, and we very much encourage people to make their own, because creating World of Darkness mini worlds within your favorite setting is just wonderful, and I love seeing people doing that. I really recommend people to use or check out #family if you're a fan of Vampire the Masquerade, because both on Instagram and on Twitter and also on TikTok, you can find a lot of people who are sharing the same passion as you using that. And if you want to share any fan art, any of your creation, any of your storytelling, role-playing, character sheets, even like anything that you are doing World of Darkness related, this is a very good way to do so. So yeah, this is one of the things that we're doing. Of course, there's a lot of other ways to mingle with the community, which we try to share and put it all on our website, which is worldofdarkness.com. We're going to expand it, and it's only going to grow. So it's a good time to jump on board and see what grows in the future.
Excellent. So you have some really incredible members of your community who are, as you described, making new content, inviting people in. Have you seen any, or really witnessed any exceptional situations, acts of kindness, inclusiveness, things that just really help grow that community?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like our efforts, and not only our efforts, because these efforts are coming from the community as well. There's a lot of effort to make sure that this community is very inclusive and very open, and to make sure that anyone who enters it feels welcoming, and make sure that there's no gatekeeping involved. There's no these are the rules, and you have to follow these particular rules and be in this particular little shelf of people in order to join in. Anyone can join in and enjoy World of Darkness, and that's what we want to cultivate. And I've seen a lot of the community members sharing the same mindsets, and this is what I really want to spread and make sure that this keeps going. I've seen people creating their own community fundraisings and charity events specifically for other family members, which always just touches my heart and makes me super happy that even though they do not know each other, but only are connected because of Vampire the Masquerade, they want to help each other. I've seen people joining each other for the charity purposes and making streams, like smaller streamers with big faces such as Matthew Mercer, which is also amazing. Vancouver by Night did that recently. There's a lot of amazing people who are trying to make sure that they spread the word of the inclusivity and of the fact that family is just a friendly place. And I love that. I want to share that, and I want to make sure that in the future the community is going to stay this way, no matter what kind of a big video games, hopefully one day, or no matter what kind of a I don't know, maybe one day a TV series or a movie comes out for World of Darkness. Whatever is going to happen with this universe, the community needs to stay this way. I really want it's going to grow, but it needs to stay inclusive and open. And I really love the fact that a lot of family members understand that, and they are trying to share it through their own channels and through their own attempts at creating content.
Do you have any recommendations for people who do just love the World of Darkness and want to share it with people who haven't been exposed to it before? Maybe their friends or family, especially right now, a lot of us are only interacting with a small number of people, and maybe those people aren't our regular family. So how can they go about expanding that within a different group of people? Any recommendations?
I mean, of course, starting with role playing is very interesting, especially around holiday time. If you will be able to gather people at least on an online communicator and just sit around one virtual table and role play something, I think that's super interesting. And my recommendation is always, of course, to check out the rules of the considerate play in the V5 core book, which are just super useful, and they are very helpful in how to try to get people in and make sure that they feel safe when they play, but also to try to really incorporate yourself in the game and in what you do. For example, if you are rolling a game for friends from the same city, from the same town, maybe you can actually use your surroundings, something that really inspired you in your daily walks, to use that in your campaign. One of my first chronicles were actually they were placed in the hometown that I am from, which is a very small Polish town that had some really cool places, like a cathedral and some little streets that are hidden a bit from each other. So I actually enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed coming up with those additional layer of fantasy, of dark fantasy, and of monsters hiding in each of the shadows in the corners. So secrets added to a real world. I think it's a very interesting concept that might interest people who are even not that much into horror or not much into vampires or werewolves, because ultimately World of Darkness games can have any sort of this fantasy element. It can be all the way up in the fantasy zone, or it can be very much grounded. And depending on who you play with, you can adjust it and you can make sure that this is going to be an interesting experience. I also very much recommend playing some board games, of course, which is always a very good introduction. I feel like playing Rivals or Vendetta at the table is going to be super fun around the holiday time. And I feel like when it comes to Vampire, I would recommend Coteries of New York or Shadows of New York as the entry point for people who haven't played Vampire the Masquerade yet, because they really explain some basic Vampire the Masquerade stuff very clearly. And I've heard from a lot of people who this was the introduction for them in the World of Darkness, that it was a great introduction and they learned everything very easily without having to get through the book, which is important for some people. Nowadays, of course, as much as books are still very important for us and for a lot of our fans, a lot of people want to have a little bit easier ways in, at least for the first glance. So either to watch the video or to play a game. So for that, I would say Coteries would be a very good entrance, and watching LA by Night, of course, which was the entry point for a lot of people.
Those are a lot of really good suggestions. I particularly like your idea of doing a campaign that's set in your own city, because I think World of Darkness lends itself really well to connecting what you know and what's familiar with this little bit of extra supernatural, something different, mystical, that's exciting and different. But still, especially for new players, being able to grab onto something that is familiar is a nice place to start. Very
Yeah,
cool.
like when I was a teenager, I was very much drawn to this whole idea, mostly because of that. Because living in a small, boring city in the middle of nowhere, and not having many friends because, I was nerdy and I was a little bit of a goth and all that jazz that teenagers have to go through, I felt like I feel like a lot of us had those dreams, either, receiving a Hogwarts letter or becoming a superhero, like anything extra that could happen in our lives to make it different, even if that would be scary. I feel like that was something that we really dreamt of, because that would make our lives way more interesting. And this was the kind of a feeling I had throughout my whole youth. I just wanted this all to be more interesting. And I feel like World of Darkness kind of worked well with that mindset, that there's the secret layer of secret organization going on. And so going through my town and imagining, this could be a Tremere chantry, this could be where Prince resides, was super fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it helped me get through the very difficult teenage years.
Definitely. It's nice to have a bit of an escape.
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, just out of curiosity, because you are part of the brand team, how does the brand team think about new expansions, new content, new games in general? And is the community a part of that? Do you read through the Discord channels and get information from what people are asking for to advise those decisions as you're making them?
Yes, of course, absolutely. And I am spending my most of my life reading other people. And as much as people may know me much more of a talker, because they see me on streams or on videos, or today, for example, they see me being interviewed by you, and I talk. I do talk plenty, but my regular everyday life is actually not talking but listening. And I listen to a lot of people from the communities, not only on Discord, but I browse Reddits, forums, Twitter, Facebook groups. Basically, I'm trying to be everywhere where people who are anyhow involved with World of Darkness, if they are there, if they speak about some things, I want to listen. And this results, of course, in me coming then to the brand team and telling them, guys, so this is the general sentiment about this stuff, about that stuff. And I feel like I can reveal actually that when Justin Akili came on board, who is our creative lead, and the idea of Vampire the Masquerade Companion, which is it's now called that, but back in the day we didn't have the name for it, started to slowly come up. He came to me and he was asking me about the specific sentiment reports about the clans which we're including in the companion. And I was really scouting the internet far and wide to see what people nowadays think about Tzimisce, Ravnos, Salubri. What are their wildest dreams about these clans? And do they want them back, actually? If they wouldn't want them back, if we wouldn't see people who actually want them back, we wouldn't bring them back. Companion is happening because we've seen the community need for this. And I feel like we really did our research among what our fans are into, and how we can make their tables more interesting. And hopefully they're going to see that in the companion.
That's very exciting. I can't wait for that companion guide to come out. There's just so much new, interesting info in there. And that's really cool that you're putting it out for free. I just think that's awesome, and certainly something that the community will appreciate and be excited about. So you obviously are paying attention to the community. If there are people watching this show, I know we have a lot of awesome regulars in our chat. Where is the best place for them to be posting, chatting, talking, and also getting more information about the World of Darkness?
So the main hub in which we post all the information is our website, which is worldofdarkness.com. But if you want to have a hub in which you can participate as a community member, talk to us, tag me at any time of the day or night, which people are doing, and it's fine, that's our Discord, discord.gg/worldofdarkness. We are welcoming everyone in there to share their input about what we're doing, and to share their love to World of Darkness with other people in the community, and to meet others, because there are so many cool people there, and I just love spending time with them.
Nice. And they can ask you questions there too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever.
Awesome. Well, I know we don't have a lot of time and you have to run, but if anybody in chat has questions for Martina, like she said, you can go to Discord and ask her, or I'm happy to answer as many questions as I can on her behalf. So feel free to put those in chat and I'll definitely get in there and answer as many as I can. But thank you seriously so much for joining us. It's been really fantastic to get to know you a little bit better and also find out more about this amazing community that you're helping grow. And I encourage everybody watching this to go and be part of it. It's a really fun, welcoming place. It's a wonderful way to interact with other people, especially now when those opportunities are a little bit more limited, but also just to grow your knowledge and the fun that you have with all of the different World of Darkness games that you can play across all of the internet, role-playing, board games, video games, and everything else. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday, and hopefully we will see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It was a pleasure to be here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hey everyone, if you have any questions, obviously Martina is not available here to be able to answer them right away, but like I said, please just post those in Discord and she's definitely going to be able to check out your questions and get back to you. But if you have any questions about Rivals, I just did want to jump in and give you a little bit of an update. We are getting closer and closer to being able to ship all of our games from the factory out to the different individual fulfillment houses for Rivals expandable card game. So we're getting pretty close. If anybody did have other questions, put those in chat and I'll answer those right away. I know we had a few questions as we were going through. There was one for Martina that I can't answer, but hopefully you guys are going to get your games very soon. We worked really hard this week on our website. So if you haven't gone over to Vampire Rivals, vampirecardgame.com, go check that out and see the new stuff over there. We're still working on our deck builder, which is basically a way that you can go through all the cards and see everything. It'll be a whole database of all that good stuff. So go check that out if you haven't yet. We're working hard on our events part of our website. So that should be coming up relatively soon and we'll have some good useful stuff in there for anybody who wants to be an organizer. I definitely think anyone here in chat should be excited about that. I'm sure that you will all be great champions for this game when it comes out. And yeah, also, I know some of you did receive Vendetta this week. I know I saw some good chatter about that. I hope you're enjoying it and get to play that game with as many friends as possible soon and get to enjoy that while you're waiting for Rivals. So yeah, it looks like we don't have any other questions for this week, but we will be back next week and we'll be posting in Discord about what we have coming up for that. So check that out.
We did have one question just pop in. I don't know if you can see it yet.
I just saw that. So what's this organizer thingy? I don't know what that means. All right, Coyote, you're going to have to elaborate a little bit. Tell me what you're asking a little bit more, and I will do my best to answer that one. I'm not really sure. We lost the audio. You can't hear me? Uh-oh. Might have some technical difficulties.
It says the audio is going through.
All right, James. I'm not sure what the problem is. All right. Okay, well, Coyote, I'm going to go check in Discord and answer your question just as soon as I see that pop up. Oh, about an organizer. Just being distracted by the audio is fine. An organizer. I'm still not sure what you mean. Maybe you're talking about the card database that we're working on our website, so you can see all the different cards that we have. That will maybe help you organize all the cards. All right. Well, it's been fun chatting with you guys. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And we'll be back here at 5 p.m. Pacific for Vampire Wednesdays. Enjoy your week. Bye.